She walked into the courtroom like she owned the building. Designer dress, sunglasses like she was stepping onto a movie set. Not a shred of respect for the law, the people she endangered, or the judge about to decide her fate. But Tiffany Halstead had no idea that the boring older man sitting behind the bench had already reviewed her history. Every lie, every stunt, every person she'd hurt and bought her way out of. And today, he was done watching her walk away. By the end of this hearing, Tiffany would lose the one thing she valued more than money: control. And the moment her arrogance finally cracked, the entire courtroom felt it. If you've ever wished you could watch karma catch up to someone who thinks they're untouchable, if you've ever wanted to see real justice land exactly where it belongs, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready. Because today's story is the sweetest revenge a courtroom has ever delivered. Setup: the socialite and the judge. The Los Angeles County Courthouse buzzed louder than usual that morning. Not because of a high-profile trial, not because of a celebrity arrest, but because Tiffany Halstead, resident troublemaker, influencer, and full-time menace, was finally facing a judge who didn't accept bribes, favors, or status. Judge William Grant, a man known for a sharp intellect and an even sharper sense of justice. As always, Tiffany arrived late. No apology, no shame, just a smug smile, a perfume cloud, and sunglasses worth more than most people's rent. She walked the aisle like the courtroom was a catwalk. Her lawyer scurried behind her, red-faced and desperate for her to sit down and stop drawing attention. She didn't. She stopped in the middle, posed, and let her bag thud onto the bench like a trophy. The gallery stared. Some annoyed, some amused, no one surprised. The arrogance begins. When Judge Grant entered, the room rose in silence, except Tiffany. She stood late, slowly, with a sigh loud enough for the court reporter to hear through her headset. Grant noted everything. He began reading her charges: parking violations, reckless driving, endangering a 67-year-old man. But she leaned back, arms crossed, rolling her eyes at every sentence. Tap, tap, tap. Her nails struck the table like she was bored in a hotel lobby waiting for valet. Her lawyer whispered urgently, "Please, just stop." She flicked him away like lint. When asked to confirm her identity, she barely looked up. "Yeah, that's me." The gallery murmured. Judge's eyes narrowed, just slightly. But Tiffany, drunk on her own ego, doubled down. Sarcasm, smirking, twirling her hair, calling the case dumb, saying the pedestrian she nearly ran over was just dramatic. Gasps rippled across the room. Judge Grant slowly closed the folder in front of him. The shift was subtle, but deadly. The storm was coming. The judge's trap begins. Grant asked calmly, "So you believe this is all ridiculous?" "Obviously," Tiffany scoffed. "I didn't hit anyone. People exaggerate." Grant's gaze sharpened. "And you recall the victim?" She shrugged. "Old guy. He jumped out of the way. End of story." The courtroom froze as Judge Grant announced, "Let the record show that Mr. Edward Lopez is present today." Heads turned. A man with a sling sat quietly in the gallery. Kind eyes, tired posture. Tiffany's smirk faltered for the first time. Grant continued, voice steady, but iron hard. "He required medical attention for his injury. He continues to experience pain." "I didn't do anything," she insisted. Her voice was cracking around the edges. But it didn't matter. Grant had a plan, and she had already walked right into it. Escalation. The moment Tiffany slept. Here's where everything changed. Tiffany leaned forward, whispering under her breath, but loud enough for the microphone. "These people are obsessed with drama. It's pathetic. The gallery erupted. Even the stenographer paused. Grant lifted his eyes. Still calm, still controlled, but the room felt the temperature drop. The setup for revenge. Instead of exploding, Grant spoke softly. "Miss Halstead, would you like to hear what Mr. Lopez said about you?" Tiffany blinked. "No." Grant ignored her. He said, "I don't want her punished. I want her to understand. Because if she doesn't, she'll hurt someone else. And next time, she might not get lucky." The gallery stilled. Tiffany's face paled. Grant's voice dropped lower. "But you don't believe you've done anything wrong. So, I leave you no choice." She straightened. "What does that mean?" The hammer falls. Revenge begins. Grant read the penalties. Fines, 200 hours of community service, mandatory training. She laughed. Actually laughed. "That's it? A joke. I'll pay the fines. Someone else can do the hours." Her lawyer nearly passed out. Then Grant delivered the killing blow. "Oh, Tiffany, no. Someone else cannot do the hours." She froze. "You're making me hang around homeless people?" Grant didn't blink. That comment alone justifies this sentence. She slammed her hands on the table. "You can't force me." Grant raised a hand. "I can, and I am." The gallery whispered. Some smiled. A few clapped before the bailiff barked at them. But Grant wasn't done. He leaned forward. "And understand one more thing, Miss Halstead. If you fail to appear for even one day," he paused, "the suspended jail time in your file will be activated." The courtroom exploded in murmurs. Jail time? Yes. Her previous quiet settlements had been noted and compiled. She just never knew it because privilege shielded her. Not anymore. This wasn't justice. It was revenge. Legal revenge. Grant stood. "This court is adjourned." The gavel cracked like thunder. Her world collapsed. The revenge deepens. The Selter days. Monday morning, Tiffany stood outside the Selter like it was a haunted house. Inside, she scrubbed pots, cleaned floors, served meals. Quietly. No sunglasses, no special treatment. The women there didn't care who she was. Some ignored her. Some pitied her. One told her, "Life teaches you things money can't." That line stayed in her head for days. Cracks in the armor. By week 2, the arrogance drained out of her. The glamorous life felt hollow. The story she heard felt heavier than her designer bag ever did. One older woman said, "My daughter used to look like you." Then life changed things. For the first time in her life, Tiffany had no comeback. No jokes, no eye rolls. Just silence. The kind that grows you. The final revenge moment back in court. 30 days later, Tiffany returned to Judge Grant. Not in designer clothes, not with sunglasses, just her. A quieter her. Grant looked up. The gallery watched. "Well," he asked, "did you learn anything?" Tiffany swallowed hard. "Yes, Your Honor." But Grant wasn't going to let her walk out with dignity alone. He gestured toward the gallery. Mr. Lopez stood. And the judge said, "This man you nearly injured asked for mercy for you. He asked for understanding, not punishment. I hope you earned the right to keep that mercy." Her eyes welled. Real tears, not dramatic ones. She whispered, "Thank you, both of you." Grant nodded. This case is closed. But his true revenge wasn't the sentence, wasn't the community service, wasn't the courtroom humiliation. It was the one thing she could never buy, a confrontation with herself, the girl she was, and the woman she might finally become. Tiffany walked into court thinking she was untouchable. Judge Grant made her feel small, powerless, and accountable for the first time in her life. Her arrogance, crushed. Her privilege, neutralized. Her reputation, shattered and rebuilt through labor, humility, and forced empathy. That was the judge's revenge. Not punishing her, but making her face everything she ran from. Sometimes karma doesn't arrive as thunder. Sometimes it arrives as a judge who refuses to look away. And sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply watching someone finally meet the consequences they've dodged their whole life. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button.
If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and tell us in the comments, do you think the judge went too far or not far enough? And of course, subscribe for more real, raw, emotionally charged justice and revenge stories. Your support helps us bring these powerful tales to life.